I really enjoyed the video that you made, and it actually gave me a chance to think a lot about what I was worried about with making work outside of school. I enjoyed hearing about your worries with working mostly based on this dream that you had. And I don't think that it's an issue to work based off something that is important to your life. But I understand what Scott was saying, where you don't really want it to be the only thing you make work about for the rest of your life. But for now, I don't think it's an issue to be making work about something that you're interested in making work about and trying to figure out what it means to you. I remember back in Foundations when we were going to artist talks every Wednesday, that this woman came in and she was talking about how for a really long time she had made a lot of work about her grandmother and how she was dying and she didn't really know how to cope with it, so she used her artwork to sort of figure out what her grandmother had meant to her. And I think using photography and sound or video or whatever you want to work with is a really great way to try and figure out what things mean in your life. For me, I'm sort of understanding like this worry that if I don't keep making work, even if it's like not something I'm interested in, that I'm just not going to make work ever again, or I'll just fade out of it. And I really don't want that to happen, but it's really hard to stay motivated when there's not really anyone forcing you to show work every week or forcing you to have a concept behind your work. And I think a lot of my issue too is I don't want to be making work that is all sort of this same idea that is sort of spiritual for me in a way, but also like trying to figure out my own personality. I want to make work about other people or sort of like magic and emotion, but it's really hard for me to be making work here compared to at school because I don't really have a lot of people here who I can have model for me, or I can go places all the time to photograph. So it's really hard for me to keep making these images that I want to make when I don't really have a lot of time to go out and make them. So in response to your worries, I'm going to say that you shouldn't really worry about it too much because you're still making work and you still want to make work, even if you don't know whether you're going to make work after this or not. You just have to sort of go with things how they come. I mean, this dream is really important to you and you're trying to figure it out, and I think that using photography to do that is a really great way to understanding who you are as an artist and also who you are as a person, and understanding what this dream exactly means to you. The other thing I wanted to talk about was sort of what's inspiring me currently and what's sort of making me excited for the art world and what is happening in my life in relation to art. Recently, I was on Facebook, and I think Facebook's actually a really great way to follow artists who you enjoy and get inspiration from artists. I found a lot of artists who go on all these trips to places or do all these exotic things or work with two separate mediums. And it's really exciting to see how different artists cope with art in their lives. One of the artists who I follow is actually a illustrator, and she recently started doing photography and made a photo book a few years ago to put all of her images together. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't really like a lot of her illustrations. They just weren't something that I was that interested in. But a lot of her photography is just gorgeous and really creepy a majority of the time. She photographs a lot of portraits of women, no faces, mostly just torsos, and it's actually really beautiful how she has photographed these women. So that's one exciting thing that I've seen on Facebook. The other is I follow my favorite artist, Conrad Rosette, on Facebook, and I have since I got a Facebook probably. And recently he posted a thing about how he is helping in art design for a video game that is coming out. And I thought it was kind of interesting to see, like, this is a watercolor artist. He's not an illustrator. He's not a game designer. But he's working in this process to make this video game for people to enjoy. And it's sort of exciting to see, like, he probably never thought about making video games when he started being an artist, but now he's doing it, and it's like something he can enjoy and something new that he can experience. So for me, it's like giving me a chance to sort of think like, yeah, I'm working in photography, but what else can I do with photography? Even if it's something like I can never see myself doing in a million years, or even if it's just something that, I want to try out and see if I like it or whatever. I also wanted to talk about something that a lot of people have been bringing up recently, which is the website Society6, which is a really great website for artists who don't really get a lot of chances to sell their artwork. I don't know if I'm going to sell my artwork off of that page or not yet. I've been debating it because I sort of still want to do a show somewhere or just put my artwork out only once and not really have people buy it, because I've always been sort of iffy about people buying my artwork. But I don't know, it'd sort of be interesting, but you should check it out. And the other thing too is that, like, I'm worried that I'm just like stuck in this sort of null, neutral place with art, and it's hard for me to like go on social media and see that other people that we graduated with are doing all these great things with their artwork, or like traveling and doing photography, or getting jobs in their field. And for me, it's like, oh, that's great, like, good for you, that means I can do it. But it's also sort of like, oh, they did it ahead of me, they beat me to the punch. So I'm sort of worried that, like, I'm never going to reach that point where I'm doing things with my work in a career standpoint or in a money-making way. And it's really nerve-wracking for me to know that, like, I went to school for 4 years trying to learn about my medium and learn how to do things that I didn't previously know how to do. And now that I'm out of school, it's like I don't really know what the next step is supposed to be, and that's really horrifying for me. So I'm hoping that I will be able to make some new work soon. It's really hard for me to get out and do things a lot because I work all the time and it's not really a set schedule every week. So it's sort of like mix and match with when I get the chance to make work and photograph things. And my other thing too is, this is sort of a question, but I'm not really sure like if making work is just considered taking the images, or if you'd consider it like actually printing the images, framing the images, mounting the images. Because for me, like, making work means photographing the images and maybe doing something with them, like making a photo book or something. But I'm not like, I think making work is just making work. Like, you take an image, you put it on your computer, maybe share it with a few people, put it on your website or something. But I'm not sure that you need to print the images and show them to other people or whatever. I think that as long as you are working on the artwork in some way, whether it's brainstorming, researching, photographing, doing site studies, whatever, I think that that's part of the whole process of making artwork. And I don't think that you really need to have images printed and hung up on the wall or shown to other people for it to be making work. So that's my video for today, and I will see you in your next video. Bye!